It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Of the user. Not the first one, right? You know what time? Ja, Robert. We zijn bijna klaar om te beginnen. Als we nog even dit nog te goed kunnen inpluggen, dan... en zou ik dan ook eventueel mijn UXPS-presentatie op uw...
Ja.
Super. Ja.
Dat is langs deze kant.
Ja, ook even iets. Dit zorgt ervoor, dat is voor Sebas, dit zorgt ervoor dat de mensen thuis je horen. Dus ik had even een vraag, we hebben daar een micro voor, of we hebben dat je dat in uw dinges kunt steken. Heb jij een voorkeur voor wat je graag...
Ja, we zijn met twee. Ik ben een collega aan het spreken.
Ja, dan is een micro misschien beter. Ja, inderdaad. Ja. Allee, idealiter, het zal genoeg zijn. Jullie staan dicht bij elkaar, dus dat zal wel voldoende zijn. Maar gewoon... ja. Oké, ça va. Ik ga even de link doorsturen en dan open ik het van hier en dan is alles goed. Ja. En ja, dus aan mijn kant staat het al goed als we dan nog de beamer aansluiten. En dan ga ik even de ronde gewoon doen en dan... ja,
perfect.
Alright. Ja, sorry, inderdaad. We hebben ook nog één luik voorzien in onze presentatie waar dat iemand van jullie mag voorstellen. Ja, sorry dat ik daar nu pas mee kom.
Ja, wij doen dat eigenlijk al een beetje in het begin van onze talk.
Ja,
dat is sowieso
okay.
onze eerste slide met een kleine wie zijn wij, als in kan. Wie zijn wij als sprekers.
Oké, nee, dat is goed.
Dus ja, dat moet niet per se nog in jullie...
Dan zal ik het gewoon even kort overgaan en dan zeg ik dat jullie het verder wel zullen presenteren.
Dat is perfect.
Ja, super. There's somebody outside, so if you could get her, then Alice, she's a girl, like a Polish girl around at the ground floor. No, she's one of the participants. Yeah. Alice, Jana Orlova is coming for you. Slack her if you want to find her, but she's coming outside. Let's see. Check. als je die kunt mirroren, dan krijgen de mensen ook het juiste scherm te zien. Dus dat is... Dat is bij je display settings. Ja, dat is gewoon, ja.
Misschien heeft hij niet
Nee, die heeft nog een ander, ja. Ja, dan is het... Ja, want dat is misschien het enige wel. Wacht, als we naar displays gaan. Dus nu heb je er 3. Wat je kunt doen is van mirror. En dan... Wacht, nu moet ik eens kijken. Ja. Zien, maar wacht, waarom staat dit nu? Wacht, mirror. Ja, zo kunnen we een configuratie hebben. Oké, dus we kunnen kiezen. Ik denk dat we kunnen kiezen wie dat we kunnen mirroren. Dus jij wou graag deze nog hebben voor...
Eigenlijk is dat niet per se nodig.
Ja,
zeker. Als we gewoon één scherm overal mirroren, dat gaat gewoon makkelijker zijn, denk ik.
Oké, dus ja, ik kan het nog eens proberen als je wilt, hè, maar dus dat gaat zo gaan voor u.
Kijk, eens checken bij mijn collega.
Ja. Ja? Oké, super. Alright.
Dat ga je eerst straightforward voor iedereen gaan.
Ja, inderdaad. Even zien. Was dit de juiste? Ja. Oké. Ja, ik weet het. We gebruiken die al zo lang.
Tuurlijk.
Ja, en dat, ja. Ja, niet voor die reden, maar ja. Alright. Wat ik nu zal doen, is even de ronde doen dat iedereen mag komen zitten. En dan beginnen we.
Ja,
zo wat. Oké. Hi guys, we're just here to let you know that we're gonna start in a couple of minutes.
But you've been living here for like 10 years.
I was, you managed to get in. Ah, super. Okay, I just wanted to say we're gonna start in a couple of minutes. All right. Ja. Dag heren. Ik ga even laten weten dat we over een paar minuutjes gaan starten. Goed. Hey Sherry, nice to see you again. Yeah. Great to have you. I just wanted to let you know we're going to start in a couple of minutes. All right. So, all right. Ja, dus ik ga jullie introduceren. Heeft Robert u allemaal wat uitgelegd? Ja, je hebt genoeg ruimte, normaal gezien dat iedereen u goed kan horen. Ja. Dat is gewoon voor de mensen thuis dat die het kunnen horen. Oké, dus ik doe even mijn volk en dan introduceer ik jullie. Goed? Dag Maarten. Fijn je te zien. Ja. Ah ja, dat is goed. Hey Sophie, lang geleden. Ja, zeker, met u. Ja, zeker. All right. So thank you all for coming to the October edition of UX Antwerp. It's nice to see you all gathered here. I see a lot of familiar faces. I also see a couple of new faces, so just to have an idea who is here for the first time tonight. right? That's quite a crowd. So for you, I just want to introduce our organization, and then I'll talk all about the lineup of tonight, all right? So what is UX Belgium? So we are a network organization. What we try to do is we want to create a space for all UX product professionals, even branding professionals, where they all can get to know each other, where they can help each other, and where they can get to know a lot of new companies, and also where a lot of people can have a platform to share their knowledge with the rest of the field. So that's what we've already been doing since 2011, so quite a while. And what started out as an idea in a bar actually turned out to be an organization now of 4,000 plus members strong. So, and Antwerp is still pretty much our home base, but we have already since expanded to other areas of Belgium. So since 2022, we also have a chapter in Brussels where we host 4 times a year, and since of this year, we also have one in Hasselt where we also do 4 times a year. So that's a little bit about all our events that you can find. So, of course, all of this is possible by volunteering, and you just see me today and Jana, but we have a big team behind the scenes working on all the communications, working on the technical setup, the management, all to make sure that all these events can take place. And if you feel like you also want to help keeping this community alive, if you also feel you want to contribute in whatever way is possible, our door is always open for everyone so that you can get that experience, that you can help to contribute to our goal, basically. And so the biggest thing we ask of you is enthusiasm. So if you feel like you want to do more with volunteering with us, feel free to hit us up. Then, of course, all of this is made possible by our host Kan tonight, but also by our other amazing hosts that we had over the years. We have a lot of presence in the agency world, but since a while also more into other companies that really hold UX into high standards. And if you are working for a company and you're thinking maybe that would also be cool to host with UX Belgium, you can always hit me up afterwards. We're always happy to also expand our network of hosts. So then we have volunteers, we have hosts, but one of the most important things is also the speakers who come to contribute, to tell a bit about their experience, about stories that they had. That's what makes all these events engaging. And I'm really betting that every one of you has a story to tell or some experience to share. And for those of you who are courageous enough to take up the mic, we also want to give you the platform to share this with an audience. And so if you're feeling brave, you can always hit us up. We are already looking for 2026 speakers. So if you're, how can I say it? You can, sorry, I lost my thread. You're always welcome to try with us. All right. And so we're going to have a lot of interesting conversations tonight. You will see that in the lineup, but we also hope that the conversation doesn't end here. And so because of that, we also have a UX Belgium Slack channel. So we hope to provide you everything a UXer would ever need, from job channels to promotion channels, about learnings, about courses, about everything going on in the UX space. Even also random channels where you can put the jokes that only UXers will understand. We have everything in that one channel, so be sure to subscribe and also say hi in the general, and then you're part of the conversation. Then I already mentioned Cannes. They are our host today who are making this event possible. And Robbe and Tunke are going to talk a little bit more about Cannes and what they do. But know that they are already, one of the big branding agencies in Antwerp, already around for a long time. And I'm not going to spoil the rest. The rest is for Tunke and Robbe to explain. But we don't only have a host that supports us with this. We also have two amazing sponsors who make all of these events possible. Our first one is Creative Skills. And Creative Skills is the platform for all the creative challenges out there for creative professionals. Whether it is that you do code, whether it is that you do design, that you do copy, you can all find it here basically. And sometimes they even have some niche opportunities that you maybe don't even always find on LinkedIn. So if you're on the lookout for something new, be sure to hit them up. Then we also have one other sponsor, also a very faithful sponsor of ours, which is Ariat. Ariat is one of the biggest staffing agencies in Belgium. And they became this big not by doing recruitment the usual way, but by doing recruitment really on a very human level. When you apply for Ariat, you can be sure that they really have professionals that help you with your career, and that they don't just look to staff you in just any company or any challenge, but that they really are looking for the win-win situation, a win for the client and a win for your career. So if you feel like that's something you could use right now or in the nearby future, you can always have a look at their site. Also, if you feel like I maybe not have the exact profile that we're looking for right now, they're always open for open applications. So also a very good recommendation. All right, and that brings us to the lineup of tonight. So in our last edition, it was all AI. Now we have some new varied topics that don't always get the attention they deserve, but that are very crucial nonetheless. First, we have of Cannes Tunke and Robbe, who are going to talk a little bit more about sustainable web development. Then, in the second part, we're going to explore a geeky topic, but that doesn't get enough attention in the UX space, which is data for designer, which will be presented by Anastasia Lavrenova, I hope I pronounced it right, where she's going to talk a bit about how data can influence your UX for better decisions. So, without further ado, I want to welcome Robbe and Tunke to the stage, and Robbe and Tunke, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for showing up. Welcome here at Cannes. Let's quickly first introduce ourselves. This is Robbe. Robbe Nees. He's an amazing web developer. I'm Tunke. I'm design manager at Cannes, and I have a background in graphic design and digital design. Today we're going to talk about sustainable web design, but before getting into that, a very quick introduction about our company. I heard that some people don't know Cannes already. We're a branding agency who are also very talented in automation and in digital design. And we've been around for 38 years. The last 4 years of that, we were really into sustainable web design and development. We did a lot of research, we tried some things out, and we would love to share some of our findings.
Thank you. Yes, so a few key numbers to maybe state why we think this is important. up to 7% of the energy used in the world is going to digital and the internet as a whole. It's an estimate. But yeah, that's a lot if we compare it with companies. Also still an estimate in 2025. It would be the second largest country in terms of energy consumption. So that's massive, and we're not really aware of it as a everyday person. Another key factor, there is 19 million liters water used every day to cool the data centers that are powering all this infrastructure of the internet, because in the end, the internet is still a physical thing that needs power and that needs data centers, and those need to be cooled. And the last key figure is when we compare it to industries that we can think of that are, that we know are not really sustainable in the core. The internet is 1.5 times the aviation industry in terms of CO2 emissions. So yeah, that just goes to show how big of an impact it actually has, everything that we do online. So in comes sustainable web design. Sustainable web design is a kind of practice, a way of thinking about making websites and designing websites, and always keeping the planet and the people in mind when we make decisions. As a more definition of it is creating services that are good for the people and planet by taking responsibility for the environmental impact of your work. Mainly, we just want to be aware of our impacts and knowing what things we can do to reduce the impact of the things that we make.
All right, some key principles of a sustainable web design are these guys. I'm not gonna explain them one by one because we will cover them in our presentation. But I do want to focus on two of them. One is open. There's a gigantic issue, as Robbe already explained. If we want to tackle it, we will have to work together. So it's really important to be open, to spread awareness about it, and to share everybody's research on a topic. And the second one I want to highlight is honest. It's okay not to be perfect. It will kind of be a theme in our whole presentation. We will talk about some issues that we have, because sometimes it's hard to think 100% sustainable if you also want to make something super pretty, but we'll get into that. Okay, so to make it as approachable as possible for you guys, we made a few to-dos to do sustainable web design or development. Okay, the first one is less is more. I think most designers here are guilty of adding visuals or even videos to your website that are not really bringing something extra to the table. By example, I'm definitely guilty on this topic. If you're making a website for a corporate brand, adding the typical handshake, etc. But yeah, adding a picture to your website makes it more heavy, and that makes it more intense for the impact on your environment. So if you add something to your website, make sure it adds extra value. That's the case for visuals, but it's also for analytics tools, it's also for integrations, animations, etc. So if you really need it, of course, add it. If you don't, just leave it out and keep it simple.
The second to-do, size does matter. We're talking about sizing kind of everything that has to do with your website, the website as a whole, but you can also think about every asset that is on your website. We need to try and optimize everything as much as possible, reduce the sizes on the website, because large files, large websites is a lot of data that needs to go from the one point to another when you just open a website. And yeah, the less data that we have to send over every time, the better, the more sustainable. A good example of a practical thing you can do is optimizing all the visuals and images on your website. As Tunke said, don't add any that don't add value. But when you add things, make sure they are optimized. I think it's not, you don't really see the quality difference on this screen, I think, anyway. But in the top one is 9.1 megabytes as it came out of camera. But then that's a base file, the JPEG file. But then you can look at other formats of media like WebP or AVIF that are optimized for websites that are way smaller in file size. And also just the file that you have, compress them. There are a billion great tools online that you can use for image compression. So you don't have to send over 9.1 megabyte for just one image. You can optimize a file and you only have 100 kilobytes maybe left, which is way less heavy to send over.
All right. When we are focusing on people and planet, it's really important that we help the user of your website as good as possible. So we want to get them to the information point or the call to action where they want to be as fast as possible. So this is a very good reason to focus on information architecture. Just make sure that it makes sense, that it's easy to comprehend for everybody, and avoid like in-between pages. Work with some great navigation drop-downs, and just try to ensure that the users of your website are getting where they want to be as fast as possible.
And then also to kind of make yourself a little bit accountable as well, measure your impact and set benchmarks for yourself. Normally here we have the tendency to, if we have a new client and we're making a new website, do a benchmark of their current website, and then we always try to do at least better than the one they are having right then at the moment. And of course, we're always aiming for the best score, but it's very client dependent how far you can go with it and how it will end up in the end. Now, how can you measure your websites? We ourselves use 3 tools to do these kind of measurements of how sustainable the website is. The first one is website carbon calculator. It's just an online tool. You can paste in a link of a web page and it will visit the web page for you and calculate how heavy it is and if it runs on sustainable energy, for example. And you get a number and also a grade. This one is a very easy one. You just get one grade, not a lot of information about it, but it gives you an idea of where you're at. Another one is Digital Beacon. It kind of does the same, but it has a little bit more of information of how you can then optimize the things that are going not great. And it also keeps track of all the times you visited a web page, so you can see if you made any progress. And the last one, it's my personal favorite. It's EcoGrader. Why we like this one so much is because it gives a lot of information of why it gives a certain grade. It says these and these and these files are way too heavy, or maybe you load something very heavy in terms of analytics integrations. So with EcoGrader, you get a whole overview of all the things on your website. And also it takes UX more into account. So that's one. There are 3 tools that we like to use for that.
All right. When we look at when and where your website creates a CO2 offset, we have to take a few things we have to have a few things in mind. First is when the website is created, then is when it's stored in like huge data centers, when it's coming to the person that is using the website, but also when somebody is watching a website on their devices. This is a moment where your website asks for energy because it needs battery life and energy from your device. A lot of screens are, the amount of energy they use is defined by the colors that you're using. So color is important in sustainable web design. Super bright colors like white or like a beautiful electric blue are not that sustainable. Very sad because I like it. Dark mode is way more sustainable. So that's just a small thing to keep in mind. Okay, mind motion as well. I don't think it will be a surprise that a video takes a lot of data transferring, so it's not really sustainable. So really mind motion. We're very, we're playing it very safe when it's autoplay video, by example. You really need it because, it just starts playing even without that people want to see it. And also consider if there are other ways to replace a video. By example, this is a case from a website that we made a few years ago, which we really like. De Rijen is a touristic spot in Antwerp where you can visit the tunnels under the city. And instead of starting the website off with like a movie, by example, we created a parallax animation with SVG files, which is way more sustainable, and it even adds to the storytelling, in my opinion. So it doesn't always have to be a video.
Yes, next, mind typography. Just like visuals, like images and video, as we talked about already, your typography or font files can add a large amount of data to your website as well. So keep it in mind when designing. A few things you can try and do to minimize the impact that you have. Is choosing the right font type to upload to your website. You have OTF or TTF files, which most designers will know, but you have also WOF files. It's for web optimized font files, for example. So if you have those, use those for your website because they are way smaller and they will work with 99% of all the browsers also. Another thing you can take into account, do you really need 3 typefaces for one website? We try to always use a nice, maybe custom typeface for the big text, for the titles, for the main text. But then for the body text, maybe a system font is sufficient, or for example, Comic Sans can be sufficient. System fonts are installed on all computers already, so you don't have to include them in your website, which makes your website more lightweight as well. In our own journey to a more sustainable CAN website, we also did a lot of research into optimizing our font because that was the reason why we were scoring very bad in the beginning. A third thing you have to take into account with typography is where you are getting it from. There are some very big players in the field, Google and Adobe. They can host your font files if you use Google or Adobe fonts. But if you integrate it with your website like that, then you have the drawback that the fonts are hosted at a different place than your website is hosted. So if it's possible and you can upload your font file at the same place, just with your website, then you don't have to do all the extra traffic to go get a font file of Google or Adobe and then get it back to the user. It will just be at one place, so you minimize the traffic. So we always like to download our Google fonts and upload it with the website. or buy our Adobe fonts and then use the separately bought file instead of an integration with Adobe. This is another example of the fonts, mainly of the body font here. I'm not sure if you can see any difference, maybe just a little bit of spacing, but one font is a custom font and the other font is a system font. So I don't think anyone would actually notice it if you would replace this one with a font that is being installed already.
All right, so one of the things that can make your website less sustainable are a lot of tracking scripts that are being loaded every time somebody is using your websites. We have a few of our own examples here. We have a very nice integration of Tree Nation on our website. It's in our footer. I don't know if you know Tree Nation, but they are a very cool company that is focused on reforestation. And they offer this button, and if you put it in the footer of your websites, they compensate the CO2 that your website is creating by planting trees. So, beautiful idea. You can show it over here. We already have 11 trees, especially for our website. We have way more, by the way. But because we installed this function on our website is less sustainable because the script is running every time that somebody is visiting a page. So, difficult, hard decisions. Okay, another example, and maybe something you can try for yourself. Especially for this meeting, Robbe said, I'm going to take some time to make sure our website is in its best shape. So we took a look at the texts that were on our websites a few days ago. We discussed with the marketing team, and there were a lot of experiments from the past that were still running on our website every day, but they weren't doing anything with anymore. So we did a bit of a autumn cleanup ourselves.
Yes, and then a few more technical points. So what's important from a technical point of view is to optimize your code as much as possible. We are kind of spoiled in the times that we live right now, because if we have a heavy website or a lightweight website, the website will load, and it will load pretty quickly unless you do something terrible. But there are still a lot of benefits to gain that we don't really do anymore because we are so spoiled. But we really need to go, if we want to take sustainability into account, we really need to go further and look for ways to optimize your code even more. So it takes less energy to run, basically, and is also less heavy. That's actually about all software. For websites more specifically, and also front-end more specifically, if you can do something with JavaScript and you can do something with CSS, for example, the CSS route will most often be way more efficient than the JavaScript option. Something else, from a technical point of view, you should keep in mind is to host your website nearby your target audience. If you know you have just a local website from something in Antwerp, then don't run it on a data center in China. Something else that you have to take into account or in mind also has to do with hosting. If you can put it on a CDN instead of just one data center, normally all the big providers will have a CDN you can also deploy your website to. Then that's 9 out of 10 times more sustainable way as well to deploy your website. Also, mind hosting. Data centers can work, some work more efficiently than others, some servers work more efficiently than others, and also most of them by now are running on renewable energy and some are not. So if you have the choice, choose for the ones with renewable energy. In our going back to the pillars that we saw in the beginning, being honest and open is also one of the big topics in sustainable web design and development. And we put a little tear emoji here because we can't guarantee with our tech stack right now that we always host our websites on a data center with renewable energy. We do notice that more than 9 out of 10 times that we check our websites, they are hosted on a green data center, but sometimes they are not. It has complications with a technical decision of our tech stack, but we are lobbying to get it to a green provider as quickly as possible.
All right, mind embodied carbon. So while creating a website, you also have carbon offsets. By example, in this office, we create websites here. We use the bathroom. We eat some food. We use some energy. So it's really important to make your workspace as sustainable as possible. Our office manager, Isa, she's somewhere here, is really putting a lot of effort in that. Thank you for it. One big thing is make sure you have a green energy provider. But that's also important for your home office. Me, myself, I'm a big fan of Bolt. I don't know if you know it. It's a Belgian energy provider with only suppliers in Belgium. They have raving reviews from, by example, Greenpeace. If you scan this QR code, you get a 50 euro discount, and I will get a 50 euro discount myself. So please do.
You can also find the presentation later on if you need it. Mind accessibility. Accessibility is kind of a different topic to talk about. We can fill an whole talk with it as well, but we can't have a sustainable website without keeping accessibility in mind, and the other way around as well. We can't have a sustainable, an accessible website without keeping sustainability in mind. Also, when you're optimizing your website, when you optimize for accessibility or sustainability, 8 out of 10 times you're optimizing for the same things. You want to make sure everything runs smoothly. You want to make sure everything is lightweight and just loads and works as it's supposed to work. And then, you can go into little subtopics. But by default, a not accessible website is a not sustainable website because the user will take more time on it and it will just be less efficient to do the stuff that they need to do.
All right, we're back to the open and honest stuff, so please talk about your efforts. I hope we sparked some interest here today. We are already doing a good job because we're talking about it, so that's something. You can go to the next slides. And then it's really okay not to be perfect. If every time we hit a boundary on our sustainable efforts, we would have stopped, we would have been nowhere today. So even if your website is not perfect, which our websites aren't, it's still important to do little efforts because they can make a bigger impact if lots of people are using the websites you created. All right, we know that not everybody here is a web designer or web developer, so we have a very short end of the presentation about digital footprint, because of course websites are part of a larger digital world, and everybody has a digital footprint. So we have 3 very quick steps to make your digital footprint smaller that you can even do while sitting here in this presentation. So the first one is unsubscribe. Everybody here, I'm very sure, receives a lot of emails, email subscriptions, with emails that they don't even read. So please just unsubscribe, because those are emails that are sent over. They contain photos that are being transported across the World Wide Web, and that creates carbon. So just unsubscribe if you don't read them. Delete. Like Robbe already mentioned, we're really spoiled. We can take 20 pictures of our cat or dog, and we can keep all of them, but that's not really sustainable because the cloud as well has a digital footprint. So just keep 3 pictures of your dog instead of 20. Yeah, definitely.
Way more happy than just a picture.
Yeah, definitely.
20 times the same, like 20 iterations. Do you really need the 20 in the cloud hosted and available all the time? Or can you just keep the last one that has been improved? Um, those are some things to think about.
Definitely, and something I'm quite passionate about, email signatures. Every time a client asks for an email signature, we really try to push just keeping it typographic, because every time you send an email, and that's a lot of times a day, you otherwise send over an image of your logo to people that probably know you pretty well. So actually that's quite insane if you think about it, and also annoying. Voila, so just delete them.
We don't have gifts for those, but e-waste is a big one as well. Keep your physical machines as long as possible. Don't upgrade every year. That also ties into the topic of digital sustainability. And there are many, many more. Yeah, and then we want to credit Tom Greenwood. Yeah, it all started with his book that sparked our interest for the first time in sustainable web design and development. Yeah, big shout out to him and his London-based agency. And if you scan the QR code, you will be redirected to a webpage of ours where you can also download a way bigger file with all the topics and even more to-dos with more information about this.
Okay, any questions?
So really thank you for providing this talk. You really gave us, at least for me, a toolkit to really think and act about these things. If I may start with a question, like what do you think are currently the biggest barriers to adopting these kind of practices?
I think maybe there are many businesses that don't really see the added value yet. But there definitely is an added value, not only by making your website more sustainable, it will be way more performant, and it will load quicker, and it will be better in any way, actually, but also it will be more sustainable, more important for businesses as legislation will evolve to prove their efforts in sustainability as well, and sustainable digital, yeah, can also be a big part of your company's yeah, efforts. Yeah. So I think that would be, yeah, something to consider as a company.
I work at Bolt. I'm the design lead at Bolt for the past few years, but I'm leaving quite soon. And we recently redid our website, and I also suggested a radically different design that was very minimal on images, but the marketing department wouldn't have it. So I'm wondering, similar to what you did for the Raya, it's a nice sustainable solution, but what if your client had said, no, we really want to have a video to showcase at the header? How would you tackle that?
Thank you. All right, you should invite us over. We can maybe... I would just try to charm them with a nice alternative, actually. because I'm the person who mostly is going to present the designs, and sometimes people do ask about it, why isn't there an image in the header? And I'm like, yeah, what's the added value? And if you can really show them a nice design without the images, it doesn't have to feel basic. I think the Ryan is a great example of it. You can do that much with like SVG's and some animation, and if the client sees a positive alternative to a video or an image, in my opinion, actually it works quite good. We didn't have that much clients who really opposed to it. So yeah, you should visit. Okay, perfect.
Hi. I think this might be a difficult question, but you were talking about benchmarks at first, so I just want to have an idea of how far are you able to bring those numbers down during the websites that you build now compared to the older designs? Is it 20% more sustainable, or?
So that really depends on how bad the first website is. But I think with our new CAN website, when we designed and developed a new one, we were like by default when we launched it, we were I think D or C graded, or even worse. Even worse. And then we really optimized everything we could, and there was always one thing, which was a font file that was just too big to get the grade down. And then we really went into the font file and we were like, how can we optimize it even more and more and more? We left some characters out. We had a variable font file, which is very nice because you have all the widths of the font in just one file, so you don't have to upload all the files. But in practice, we were only using the regular and the bold version. You can fake a bold version with web development with CSS styles, and then, in fact, you only need just one file for the regular font, and that was like 5 times smaller than the variable file, and that reduced it to, I think, a B or a C grade. So I think that went like more than 50% reduction. But then you're looking very much into fine details. Something that we were talking about back then as well is, does this really even matter? The file, like 20 kilobytes less, at some points you could say, why does this matter? It's just so tiny and no one will notice it when they load a website. But if you have large websites that will be loaded thousands of times, then those smaller things can add up in the bigger picture. Yeah.
I must have missed the part where GIFs or SVG files are smaller than images or the videos. How does that work?
So that's mainly for images that we were talking about. I'm sorry, if someone has epilepsy, then close your eyes. Okay. This has to do with image compression. It's also very technical, but there are many types of how you can store an image, and all those types are meant to store some kind of image, let's say. JPEG files are the most basic image files, and they have their options of compressing, but they're pretty limited in that. And then you have other types of files, like WebP. It's a new type of file. You can find image converters online and just upload your JPEG file and you'll get a WebP file back. WebP is being developed by Google a few years ago. I'm not sure what it stands for. But it's specifically for website use and to be better to store digitally. Other files are GIF files, for example. They are often way bigger as well. You have PNG files, which you would more use for graphics instead of images. But if you can use a PNG, then 90% of the times you can also use a SVG, which is another type. And that has as a benefit that it's vector-based, which is very small in file size because you don't really need to store all the individual pixels of an image, but you can just store the mathematical equation information about the file. The fact that it moves, we do it with the code. So it are just still layers, and we add code, JavaScript to it to make it move in another way, but the impact is way less than have it embedded in the file. I'm not sure if it answers your question.
Sorry, concerning the WebP files, when you deliver your website to the client and the CMS, do you have an automatic converter on the CMS so that your client just uploads the JPEG and it's automatically converted? Okay.
So we always advise our clients to be aware of what they upload, and we will have a maximum file size that they can upload. Just to make them aware. But in the CMS that we are using, Webflow, there is an convert all files button, which will convert it to WebP or AVIF files. AVIF is an even newer version than WebP, and it is even, it can go even more compact. Okay.
Yes, I want to ask from like the user's experience perspective. Do you have any information or research about if a user or consumer sees that on the website it says it's sustainable design in some way, and will they have like better preference and or trust in this website? Do you have any research about that?
We didn't cover it, but we actually have a kind of script again from which tool is it? It's from Carbon Calculator that we add to the footers of our websites, and it explains how much carbon is created by loading the page. So that's really for the awareness part. Did we have research from users to see if they prefer it? We didn't do tests about it. We do have had a few clients who were really enthusiastic about it and really wanted to add that tool to their footer as well, just like we did. So we feel that there's really a market in type of businesses who are really sensitive for it, especially if they are doing something sustainable as well. It just shows that they practice what they preach. Yeah, we do feel some positive feedback on it.
Okay, so I see there were some more questions, but so Robert and Luca are still here to break, so you can also always ask your questions to them. So thank you. Yeah, maybe thank you, Robert and Duncan. It was really insightful. So please give them a warm round of applause. And with that, we have until, I would say, 2010 as a small little break, and then we'll start again with Anastasia's talk. So see you then. All right, guys, so, and we're back. And after an insightful session about sustainability, we're gonna learn all about data and what it can do for design. So Anastasia, please tell us more.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Brave people who are ready to speak about the data at 8 p.m. Let's start, and I try to be really, I try to make this topic really interesting, not so boring as data can be. A little bit about myself. My name is Anastasia, or you just can name me Anna. I work as a designer 6 years. I have really different experience. I started as an UX UI designer and e-study, then I went to e-commerce. Now I work in a telco company, and also I create a internal tool for freelance. Originally, I'm from Ukraine, and maybe fun fact about me, or not so fun, I graduated as a doctor. So I lose 6-8 years to become a doctor, but now I am here to treat your user flows with data. Why am I here? As far as I work as a designer, UX designer, I never saw the same flow for us as a way of working. So if we compare all of us with same experience, we will see totally different way how do we work. And it depends on what did we graduate. Our first experience as an employer or as a freelancer, maybe how your team works. So, and normally we can compare, especially today for our topic, with two camps, camp which use data or who doesn't do it. Most of my career time, I didn't do it, but 2 years ago, I changed my perspective, and today I try to explain you why you can do it easy and super fast. But before we start, just a short question. Do you know where did I take these pictures? Which film is it? Nice. Just a short introduction, maybe someone didn't see it. The idea that this man now, once he had an adventure in his life, and he understood how this world works. And after all this big story, this bold man asked him, would you like to take the blue pill and forget everything that you know before, or red pill and to live with this new experience? And today I would like you, as UX designers, also choose pill. The blue one, guess and design, that we all do normally when we have a lot of different tasks, and we just need to be faster and more productive. Or red pill, change your metrics and check the data first. All my presentation will be built on one real experience, and to understand this experience, I would like you to know where do I work. So I am a UX designer for a telco company. The name is Base. Who knows Base? Great. Who use Base? Thank you. Thank you, you gave me work. Or I need to think about to change something. The Base is, our main competitors are Telenet, Proximus, Mobile Vikings, Woo, etc. And what do? We sell data and calls. Also, we sell internet and TV, but today we'll speak more about the mobile subscriptions. And the story was 1 year ago, my manager came to me and told that we have a problem. We saw, if we compare Q2 and Q4 2024, where our mobile subscription dropped by 7%. And as a business, they would like to increase them up to 4 or 5. So pretty realistic, yes, not super high. And the idea was, let's make an A/B test. So we just can create more business proposal, show our user with a promo, and sell. And here we start our blue path, create design and test it. So, one more time, blue path is just when we take our design, create A and B version, and see the result in 2 weeks. What did we do? So here you can see our most convertive page. We name it configurator. What does it do? So you can collect different products, mobile, internet, TV, and combine them and hit different approaches with promo. What did we have? So we have just regular mobile subscriptions like 1, 2, 3, 4, And the proposal of our project manager was just add promo. And highlight that if you buy with us, you will save up to 20%. So, easy, we did it. Version A, version B, current design, the new design. Our primary KPI was CTR on order now, and just a few secondary like scroll depth, time on page, basket rate, and conversion to checkout. Results. Results were not really so nice. They were bad. And our main KPI, so you can see it's less than 1% of changes, so we made a lot of work without any results. Checkout start rate also not really nice. Purchase conversion, as we can see as a final, when we get money, not significant big. The only thing that we get is a time on page. So probably user just try to figure out what does mean minus 20%. What we figure out? That we didn't do our work correct. We tried to change design, but we didn't try to change UX problem. It's also an answer that the problem was not in a business proposal. But what if we stop guessing? And here we start our red pill path. This one is more about data-based, but also we change the way how we, the work path, how we create the design at the end. And here we start to work, really work as a designers, and we start to set up design questions. Sometimes design questions, it's not only about what do you ask users, it's also what do you ask yourself as a business and as a team. And we start to ask, like, where is the problem? Then, when we set up a list of questions, we need to find answers somewhere. And there we start to collect data. Based on the data, we define the problem or problems, and only then we create design. So if we compare it with path, the blue path, we just do this one. So looks like a little bit longer, but let's see. Setup questions. So here you can see a long list of questions, but technically I can minimize them to two main. First one, like, where do we lose our clients? So we have a customer user flow from start to end, and somewhere we lose them. And the next question is why? Why on this page or one another we lose the biggest amount of our purchases? And KPI that if we collect all these questions, we can define KPI. CTR as usual, checkout conversion rate, and interaction quality. When we set up a question, we need to understand where to look answers. For this exercise, we use the Content Square and Adobe Analytics. Also, I highlight analogies that you can, maybe your companies use not these brands, but this one, it also works. The main idea is define where our key pain points. And let's start with a Content Square. So before I go deeply to this slide, I just highlight that first of all, we define our key user flow. So we as a business know the most common way where users start their purchase and where they end. For us, it's a home page, mobile postpaid, configurator, and checkout. To make it more clear, I add video. I hope it will load. So home page, when we click to mobile, our mobile plans. Then we have our subscriptions, select our configurator page, where you can see mobile purchases. The product is on the top of the screen, and here also you can add internet and TV if you want. Then check basket and order now. So when we start to check this flow, we saw that our main drop and pain point is our configurator. So most of the clients, this 6.24% is not only for mobile purchases, it's mobile, internet, and TV. So all clients from base. We lose them on configure page. But when we isolate only mobile purchases, we saw that up to 70% of visitors leave us on a configurator page. It's a super huge amount of people, like mostly all, like a lot. Then we went deeper and using Heating Map. This is super nice and super easy plugin that you can install on your browser, and if you are allowed and your company have agreement with Content Square, you can just in one click see the most key KPI that you need to know about the website. For this time, we select the interactions. So easy speaking, it's where does our user click when they land on the configurator. And let's start from the lowest numbers to the highest one. So the lowest numbers is our hero. It's clear there is no call to action, so they don't click there. Then we see that it's a login part. Super huge login part for a mobile version. And almost each 10th user click here. So we lose them here because they start to log in. Maybe they return, maybe not, but 10% like go away. Then we figure out that people start to click on mobile subscriptions. But here is a question, why if they did it before? This is how we figure out that no, they didn't add it before. So it was a bug that they add product on the previous page, they land on this one, and they need to click one more time here. And one more step between our acquisition flow here. And this, our sticky banner, our check basket where you click and then you can order, so only each third person click here. So what we would like, that mostly all of them click on check basket and order, but no. So, overview, where we lose our clients. Login part. This one is one extra step to click and add subscription one more time. And we don't know why for now. Only the 33% of people click on the check basket. So, based on the Content Square, what we figure out? That our key drop off page is configurator. Also, we have too many extra steps, so our flow is not really smoothly. User needs to focus their attention on a lot of different things. And user need to add mobile subscription twice, and it's awful because they did it before. Why do they need to do it one more time? Next step is Adobe Analytics. So now we know some of our pain points, and we decide to figure out, okay, but what about the next steps after? Our super big login part. Long story why it's so big, it doesn't matter. But we can see here, not really good, but almost 50% of people click here. So don't compare it this previous number because it's two different tools. Just you need to know that 100% of people came here and each second click on login. It's a lot. But really login, only 4%. So really who like write down email, password, and came to customer zone, only 4%. So there is no reason to do it here because yes, they click and we can see it on Content Square that clicks are here, but there is no reason to do it because the final action wasn't done. The next step was our sticky banner. So it appears when the user adds product to the page, to the basket. So this decision is only for mobile. Why? Because for desktop we just have two columns with products and with basket. And here you need to click on check basket and see your products, and only here order now. So one more extra steps. And here we also see it in numbers that only 57% of people start, so they click on check basket, and only 36.8 click on order. So just small step, grab our more than 10% of clients. And then we decide to compare it with our desktop. As I told, for mobile we have this check basket with a sticky banner, and it go down and order now, and then desktop view, order now. And you can see here, so 0.9% who really buy, and then 2.2. So if we compare directly click on order now on desktop and one extra step between, we see the difference as well. Thanks to Adobe, we understand as well that we have too many steps. And the biggest issue for us as a business here is this order now. Because yes, we lose clients on login part, but it's most interesting that they collect all goods, they went to basket, but they didn't click on order. So they didn't continue their acquisition flow. And based on this, we made some design actions. So our issues that we highlight thanks to Adobe and Content Square. Order now CTA not visible on the first screen, especially for mobile. What we'd like to do, make orders sticky and always visible. The login component is too large and doesn't bring any real value, so we decided to delete it and then see if it has an impact totally on login and if it has an impact on acquisition flow. And product not pre-select, it was a development issue that we fixed, so now when you click on your mobile subscription, you will add the subscription directly in configurator without any double clicks. So our old design, it was like this. So sticky banner with check basket, login, and our mobile subscriptions. So we made it smaller. Now you have an order now button directly on the top, so no double clicks. If you would like to see your basket full, you just need to click on arrow or on this field with a price. We totally delete login part, so you directly can see your mobile subscriptions and buy, and fix the problem that it was not pre-selected. End results, I think it was clear why I speak about this. So yes, we had really nice results. It worked. Also, we compare it with maybe we had different promos for A version and for B version, but technically no. When we fixed the problem, when we start to ask questions, we saw real numbers. So the question is still here, red pill, where you can check data. Technically, how much time did we need to collect all this data? Near 2 hours. And we didn't create any specific Adobe flows because we have a template that we can reuse. For Content Square, it's super easy now, especially because they have an AI. So you don't need to understand what to do, you just need to ask an AI tool inside, like tell me where is problem, and it really will tell you. No, not a lot of efforts from our side, we just thought about this one. Key takeaways. This is what I wrote 1 week ago, but now during the presentation I realized what I would like you to remember. The reason why we didn't start work with data, why I didn't start work with data earlier, I just afraid that it's not for me and numbers and it's too much and you need to have some specific skills to understand what to do, but no. With ChatGPT, with AI, the entry point for this skill honestly near 1 month, then you can improve all your skills, and specifically if you work in a company and you have guys who work with these tools, you need 1 or 2 meetings to understand how to do it, and you can improve your designs and your portfolio as well with the real data and all businesses like WOS and what we have now. Questions?
Thank you a lot, Anastasia, for this very insightful talk. I didn't know there would be pills involved tonight, but yeah, they were the right variety, definitely. So maybe a first question I have is, so now I saw you worked a lot about on the e-commerce specific part. So for other areas in UX, like for example with power tools where you track efficiency and whatnot, how can you there find the right KPIs to track for you? So how would you do that in other areas?
Thank you. So from my point of view, all of us know KPIs, what we try to improve during our work. So most of us work with 1, 2, 3 KPIs all the time. If it's e-commerce or it's a banking app or it's website or apps, honestly, we work on, or we would like to more purchases and acquisitions, or would like to have more followers, or we would like to have more interactions with our tool. It doesn't matter. This is the first point. I think here it's more important where to look for these KPIs. Because if you don't know, you just can ask your manager what you would like to achieve. And normally when you have your UX task, you have measurements because they have numbers. For UI, it's more like individual part, like, don't like, but for UXers, normally they tell you, we have this number, but we would like to see this number. This is what I meant. So KPI, it's easy. The next question, where to find answer on these KPIs. And here, if to be honest, it's better to ask, if you don't know where to look for, it's better to ask people who work with tools. Normally they know. Most of the questions where I look for, it's Adobe. It's super, okay, it's not super easy, but most of things about user behavior are there. And Content Square is a super quickly thing that you can check directly without any reference and any business goals. Just check. Also Click, also very good if you would like to see some rates and real iteration with your product. But if the answer on your question is ask your business what they would like.
Okay, great. What other questions do we have? Yes.
Thanks. You said it was super easy and fast to do it, and also the part with Adobe Analytics, but you already had it somehow preset by developers that they were tracking the buttons. Right, so you didn't have to like decide what to track, but it was already being tracked and you had just to like look at the results, right?
Thank you. So it depends what are you looking for. Normally, if you have a team who work with Adobe, they have a presets, for example, 10 the most common flows that we would like to check. This is mobile acquisition, so this is our main product. This is why we just use presets. Also, you can create it by yourself. How deeper you can go, it up to your skills. But normally, as I told with the ChatGPT, you really need up to 1 month to understand. And if you have someone to ask, it's pretty easy and you don't need a lot. You just need to start.
You were talking about Adobe and Click Square. Yeah. If you had, how was the decision made to choose those tools, and what tools would you use if you have any tool available?
Thank you. If we talk about Adobe Analytics, we have 2 main competitors, is Adobe and Google. Adobe is easier. They just have easier interface and they are really more native, so you can understand how it works by yourself. With Google, I tried once. Yes, they worse than Figma in this case. If you have someone who can tell you how to do it, great. But I tried, it was not my point. Content Square, I never used analogs of this tool. The reason why, I just started to work on this with Telenet. And they have it. And when I start, they don't have AI helper, but they had really nice plugin. And as I showed right here, so most of the things, most of KPIs, clicks, rates, interaction with your pages for mobile, view for desks, you compare, you can select timeline, you can select auditory, for example, man, female, I don't know, placement, etc. And you can do it all with a plugin via Safari. So you just turn on, select on the bottom the KPI, and they just show you a number. So it's super easy. If we speak about funnels, something like this, so all of each part is some page. So the smaller page is pages that are less visited, the biggest page then more. For example, this is a home page, for example, yes. So before it was not easy to understand. now they have this AI tool here, and you just ask like, what is here? And it will tell you, this is what you need. I don't know how it works for alternatives, but this tool works really nice. With Adobe, it's easier than Google. And I started work with it 1 year ago, and now I can create the full flow by myself, and I don't give it a lot of time. So it just like was workflow where I just guess, try and guess. Yes, so my preference is Adobe and Content Square, also Click, but Click is for another needs. Click, it's more numbers, the amount of purchases, for example, or amount of fallout. It's more, or for example, with your chatbot on site, like how many persons start to enter chatbot, how many persons get answers, or how many persons are fell out. But these two, it will be more than enough to understand the pictures, especially for flow for users. Yes. No, you see?
Are we now in words? All right. Anastasia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So with that, we have wrapped up our two fantastic speakers for tonight. Also, big shout out to Ken for hosting with us. What I just want to say is thank you for being here. We hope you stay a little while around, have some beers with us, have a little bit of discussion. And if nothing else, next month we will be back at you at November 5. So thanks for coming and hope you stick around. Thank you. Yeah. It's the 25th of November, so not the actual 5th. Yeah. All right. Ja, dat is altijd de moeilijkheid als ik November 5 moet introduceren. Ja.